Hi guys! Today we are making a Summerween watermelon jack-o'-lantern sweater. If you saw the thumbnail, then you kind of get an idea of what we're making. I'm personally making a sleeveless crocheted one, but you can add sleeves, you can do it however you want. This is also not going to be a full how to make it. It's going to be more of like a template slash guidelines, or just showing you how I made it so you can use the inspiration and make your own. I'm not going to go full length into how many stitches you need for every row and stuff, because we're all different shapes and sizes and we all need different sizes. So there is that, just to preface, if you were looking for a full guide of how to make this, unfortunately you're at the wrong video. But anyways, so if you don't know what Summerween is, it is a fake holiday that was made up by Disney Channel's Gravity Falls show, which came out I think 10-ish years ago. It was basically the town loved Halloween so much that they decided to celebrate it twice, and I believe it's typically the second to last Friday in June / June 22nd or June 21st. One of the two that they celebrate it. And this year, my little family and I are gonna celebrate it. We're gonna do some crafts, which I'll share on it. I'm sorry, I don't know why my table is shaking. We're gonna do some crafts. We're gonna do some baking / snacks for it as well. But first I gotta make my sweater. Sorry. So I'm gonna get into all the supplies I have, and then we'll jump right on into making it. All right, I'm hoping it will not shake anymore, but we'll see. If not, I will have to, for the rest of the video, fix my setup here. But I'm gonna show you guys the yarn I got. Unfortunately, where I live, when I have these last minute ideas, I don't have access to very much yarn. So I did have to get acrylic yarn, which is not ideal for a summer sweater. But if you like the color of this, which is a really bright watermelon-y color, which is why I thought it was perfect, it's loops and thread from, I think they only sell this at Michael's, that's where I got it. The Impeccable yarn, the color is, this one doesn't say the color, sometimes they do coral. So that's the color. I got 3, which I hope this is all the same. Yeah, I think it's just from 2 different they have 2 different covers, but they're the same yarn. But yeah, so I got 3 of these because I don't think I'll need too much yarn to make a sleeveless sweater. Typically, I feel like the sleeves is what eats up most of your yarn. And then this is the reason why I was like, this is perfect for a watermelon. It'll save me from having to switch from multiple green colors. It is a nice dark green with 2 lighter greens that might be a little bit more white, but I definitely think it's green. But yes, unfortunately this is also 100% acrylic, but this is just going to go on the front. I also have a little bit of black yarn I will use at the end. I just didn't get it to include it in this video. Then the other 2 things you need is a hook. I am going to use a 5mm hook. That is the correct size. So I might size up because I do want my stitch a little bit looser, since it is a summer sweater. I want it a little looser, so I might size up, but as of right now I will go with a 5mm. And then you need a yarn needle. I don't know the proper name of these, that's why I call it. But yes, so you need those 3. You need 3 colors of yarn as well as those, and that's about it. It's a sleeveless sweater. It should only technically be 2 pieces. I will probably do a hem as well, but that is just to prepare yourself. Now let's get started on making it. All right, so I did decide to go with, I don't know if you can read that, my 5.5mm. I was gonna go with my 6, but I couldn't find it, so I'm pretty sure I have 2. I don't know where they ran off to. But anyways, I'm going to start with my starting chain, of course, and I'm also going to do my back panel, if you want to call it that, or just the back of the sweater, because then I kind of have a good size ratio, so I can make the jack-o'-melon the right size that I want it to. I'm also going to leave a long, I call these tails, because that will be what will help weave in the two halves together. So that's my preference for that. And I'm just going to do my starting chain the length or the width I want my sweater. So I want mine slightly boxy, but I don't want it too oversized and I don't want it fitted. And when I do this, I base it off a sweater I already own in my closet for sizing. I have made a couple sweaters before. Typically there was like this thickness, and when you do this and you do like a half double, which I believe is going to be the stitch I'm going to use, you will get some extra length, like beyond what it will be. So just be prepared that it will probably be anywhere from like 1 inch to 3 inches bigger than your starting chain was. So keep that in mind, but I'm going to do my starting chain and then we'll come back to touch base after that. This is my starting chain for my personal specs. I did 60 chains, stitches. For this, I did a did my starting chain of 60. For reference, I'm typically like a small, sometimes medium, size 6. So I did 60. It seems like it should be a decent fit, and I'm starting on my second chain, or first chain, depending on how you phrase it. I didn't go, looking at this, I didn't go into the very first one, I went into the second one. That's just typically how I do it. And I will go all the way across with a half double stitch all the way to the very end. And I will come back and check and show you guys as I go along. Here's the half double, if you want to look at the stitch. I picked this because it's slightly loose. If you want it to be looser, either pick a larger hook or a full double stitch. As I go, it is going to loosen up a little bit more. So there it is as well. So I have my 10 first rows, and I just wanted to check in with you guys, kind of give like an idea of like how big it is. You'll have to ignore my nails. I'm currently removing my nail polish, but so I have 10 rows right here. I will probably guess, I'm doing mine slightly cropped. So, and I want mine like cropped where it kind of comes at like hip length slash like where it would meet my shorts. So I'm gonna guess based on this that I'll need maybe 30 to 35 rows in general, but we shall see. So I'm gonna do a few more. I'll probably get to 20 and then I'll come back and check. As you can see, we have our flat edges when we do it off, and I don't know, because I had to refilm part of this video, I don't know if I included in this, I have a nice long tail when I have to stitch the two halves of the sweater together. So that is my current progress. I am going to do 10 more rows, then we'll check back in, kind of discuss length and where to go from there. I now have 20 chains done, or 20 rows, chains, whatever you want to call it. I always end like with a little bit of my next one, just so I have a little bit of wiggle room in case I like drop it and lose a few stitches. This is about how large it is. It is almost to the length I want it. It's about to the length I want. I do believe I'll need 30 rows. Sorry, my cat is meowing in the background. I do think I'll need 30 rows to be the length I want. And as you can see, just to get like a better idea, you can definitely see it's a little bit more of an open stitch. Something I also wanted to mention is I love the half double, because as you can see, there's kind of like almost striping or ribbing, and it makes it really easy to count your rows, so you don't have to like actively try and count it as you go. But yes. So there is that, and I think I'm gonna go do 5 at a time now, see how the length is. And while I'm doing this, and I'm kind of eyeballing it because I'm not using any actual size guide or anything, I basically just hold it up to myself in the mirror and I kind of drop it to the point I want it to be and see kind of how much space I need. I always try and make an extra inch under my armpit for cutting the, not actually cutting, but bringing the yarn in and making it shorter through here. So that's just like a little tidbit I do. I finished 25 rows here, which is about the length I want it to be. I also just took a tape measure and measured a shirt slash sweater I liked the fit of, and I measured how many inches I'll need from my shoulder hem down to like where the arm starts to cut in for your, or the sweater slash shirt starts to cut in for the shirt, your pit, seam, whatever you want to call it. So I know specifically how much I need room-wise. But anyways, that's just how I do it because I do not use anything. I just kind of wing it all. So I'm going to start cutting in, and based on like a lot of the sleeveless sweaters I've been seeing, I'm not going to do as far of a cut in, or whatever the proper term is, as I would if I was adding sleeves, because right now they're kind of popular with the like full, or almost they're like boxy cut. So I'm just going to go one over, so I'm going to do my half double, and then I'm going to go over one more. I'm going to keep going all the way through to the other side here. I'm at the end here. I'm going to do these two, but I'm not going to go all the way into the end one. This will be my last of this one, just trying to even out what I did on this side, and then going to flip. Then I'm just going to go into this one. Now this sets up a much nicer, like natural flow than this side, but once I come over here and start going this way, it will even out. So then once again, I'm just gonna do my crochet, stitch all the way down till I get to the other side. I have finished my row almost. I'm back to where I started to bring in my rows, I guess. I don't know what this is called, to be honest. Where the sleeve would attach to the sweater if I was making a sleeve sweater. You can definitely see here like how it's kind of folded over. This is like the first like full stitch. Now if I really needed to have it at a like more in spot, or sorry, I'm not very good with all the words, but if I needed to kind of cut it in a little bit more, I would only go to this one, but I'm actually gonna go to this one right in front of it, right here, so I can have kind of a smoother line since I'm not adding a sleeve. If I were adding a sleeve, I'd probably only go to here, because typically with sleeves and how I have had experience making them, sometimes you need a little wiggle room with that. But I am gonna go there, so let me set this up real quick. If I can get it to stay, there we go. So I will do my half double here, go to this one, and then I am going to go into this one right here. It will be a little harder, but get our yarn in there, and then as you can see, it's gonna add like a little bit more of a smoother transition. Then I'm gonna skip this one and go straight into that one, and then actually I think that's good, because like I said, I'm not gonna, where it kind of angles off, I'm not gonna go too harsh on that, because the style I've been seeing a lot is where it's more of like a straight box of a sweater. If you wanted it to have a little bit more of an angle here, instead of tying off here, I would weave into this next one as well instead. I have gone in as far as I want to, and now I'm just going to be going straight up, just to kind of have it kind of in the correct shape of a tank top. It won't be perfect. This is my back panel though, so it can be a little bit more flexible with it, but I went up about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 until I decided to go just straight up from this point on, and I will update you guys as I go. And my goal, like from this point up to the top of my tank top, would be 10 inches. Also, sorry about this. I do not have a better way to set it up. But anyway, since I am kind of measuring out my front piece where I'll do my jack-o'-melon, I'll kind of do like a loose size that right here to kind of get an idea. I only have lined paper, so that's what I'm going to use. This is not official. Also, you could probably hear my son playing in the background. But yes, so that kind of gives me where I can visualize the size I want a little bit better. So I can be like, that looks good, or I need to make it bigger, smaller, so on and so forth. But I think I'm going to do about that size. And now I can start on my front panel. Unfortunately, since I'm filming this at night, it's kind of hard to see. But here's my front panel. I've laid out my little crude drawing of my jack-o'-melon, and as you can see, it kind of lines up with my next, like halfway through my next chain. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go about to here, and then I'm gonna start incorporating my green yarn. So I will go ahead and do that, and I'll show you how I'll incorporate my green yarn for my jack-o'-melon. So I'm to where I want to add my green. This is kind of where it gets a little complicated. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my next stitch, and then I'm gonna add in my green. I only want it across, sorry, it's tangled in my glasses here. I only want it across this top stitching right here. So I'm going to add it. I also should mention, I'm not adding the facial features until after I'm done with the sweater. I'm gonna crochet them separately and add them. It just saves a lot of time and effort when doing this. So I'm gonna keep this tight. I'm gonna pull the green to the best of my ability through here. It's fighting me a little bit. And then I'm gonna pull that to the back. And I'm going to go back to pink, keep the green to the back there, and then go back to the green, pull it for the top, back to the pink, and then back to the green. So I can have just that top right there be green, and I'm going to do that for the length that I want the very base of my watermelon to be. So I'm gonna go through there, and then I'm gonna flip around and come back, and then we'll jump back into the watermelon making. Going reverse is never my favorite way when crocheting, but just mostly because you have to do a lot more mental gymnastics. But I'm going to, as you saw, not on the next one, but the one before that, the yarn I pull all the way through is the green, and then I'm going to do a full stitch, I guess, of green to kind of round out the edge right here. And then I'm going to go all the way across as fully green. But yes, I feel like whenever I go like in the side that's going to be inside the sweater that people aren't going to see, I always have to do a lot more mental gymnastics than on the outside, because you can definitely just visually see what you're doing. Compared to this, you're kind of going backwards, so to speak. Not technically, but I feel like you are. Or I feel like I am. I shouldn't speak for everybody who's watching. But let's go through here. And then we're gonna kind of go the opposite direction that we just did to try and round off the edges here. I'm gonna go to this last one. It wants to work with me, and then we'll do like so. Make sure we pull the green to the back. Uh-oh, See, this is the stuff that always stumps me. I'll have to start back over. But you got the idea, because this has to come onto this side. But I'm going to keep this clip in for proof that you got to make sure you push this to the back side and pull the pink forward. Actually, I might cut it, weave it through, just to save myself time. I cut it, I pulled it through. I will tie it off when I'm done here, but to prevent that from happening again, let's pull that to the back. And where is my pink yarn here? Here we go. Created a new, whatever this is called. Pull that through, and then go back through with the pink until we get back to the green again. Something I forgot when going this way, because like I said, you know, going backwards, is you have to do that top piece green again, because you are going that way. You're expanding, you're making it wider, so you have to touch on this one. So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to get the top loop of this one green, and then I'm going to go green all the way down, and then do the reverse until I get it to about as wide as I would like it for my watermelon. I'm at my 25th row here, which is where I started to go in for the sleeve. So I am going to go ahead and replicate what I did over there while also doing this. I'm also to the point where I'm going to start going kind of back inward for my watermelon, kind of at my halfway point. It's a little smaller than I pictured in my head or was planning to do, but just to try and get smooth lines as someone who's like not super experienced in this, or somebody who's not like a super perfectionist, I guess. This is what we're gonna get. So this is kind of be the halfway point. I'm gonna kind of even it out where it's kind of flat, so to speak, and then I'm gonna start going back in. So that's where I'm personally at. I finished my watermelon. I will be, like I said, adding the face to it after. But this is my watermelon. It's not perfect, but it's been a long time since I've done actually like into the crochet, like a image. So I'm pretty proud of it. I am only gonna go to about like right here with my neckline, maybe a little bit higher, and then I'm gonna show how I connect them together. My front panel is complete, and I went ahead and made my jack-o'-lantern's face, or my melon lantern. You can't really tell because it has the long pieces for it. I think I might remake the mouth, and I might embroider the mouth on here. I haven't quite decided because I obviously want the teeth to hang out. So I'm gonna put the eyes on, and I'm gonna kind of figure out what I wanna do with the mouth, and then we'll jump back in. Here's his face. It's definitely not the greatest, and I did not film my creation of his face because it was pretty chaotic. So he kind of has a little bit of vampire teeth. I love it. He looks a little evil, which is also very cute. Now I'm just gonna attach the front and back panel together. I'm not gonna attach all the way up to the top because I am going to do a, not a strap, but I'm gonna do like across the shoulder to attach it because it's not quite tall enough. I wanted more of a square neck. So we'll get to that, but I will attach it and then we'll jump back in. These sides are stitched, and I did try this on so I could kind of gauge where I need to put my neckline at. I put these on here so I could know how far over to go into, and I'm just gonna crochet a small little triangle on each side and then connect in the middle. Here it is. So I have the, not technically finished, because as you can see I have a lot of ends to weave in, sweater, and I wouldn't wear it with these shorts, but the shorts are what I was wearing. The watermelon ended up smaller than I intended, but he's kind of grown on me. I was gonna switch it up a little bit, but I don't know, especially since I have long hair, I kind of like him. So yeah, this is, I wouldn't call this a fail since my watermelon, or my jack-o'-melon, ended up like way smaller than I intended, but he's kind of cute. So he's like the ugly cute, which I guess is kind of what I was going for. But yeah, so there's my tutorial on how to make it. I'll probably do like a short clip at the end of all my ends weaved in it on like a hanger. But yeah, there's my sweater. Here is a little bit of a better look of my finished product. I've kind of decided he looks less like a watermelon and more like an angry Muppet or like someone's handmade monstrosity. And he's very angry and I put him on a sweater. So that's what I'm feeling, but I really like how this neckline turned out. This is the first time I've done a neckline more like that, and it was pretty easy. And then the back, which I still haven't weaved all my ends in, looks like this when I hang it up. But yeah, that is my Summerween slash Melon slash angry homemade monstrosity sweater. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll definitely be working on that, but I just wanted to share my adventure of making this sweater with you guys as somebody who is not a professional, who's still starting their adventures in crochet. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Bye.